Not big enough to push her out of the meta, but did see change in prio coming through for Nefiri and Gwen. I just assume from Team WE it is going to be Skarner Gwen slammed or Gwen slammed on 3. As we'll see if top esports want to get crazy and play something like Gwen jungle, but into Skarner and Azir can be quite difficult against all the displacement.
Do you like the Azir for Karis? It's one of his best champions kind of just throughout his career. Of course, spent some time in the LCK, then over here on WE for 2025. As we're getting some hovers around here. The Gwen jungle would be like a fun little takeaway if you are top esports, but I think just going towards stock standard would make good sense as well. It's a Yone locked in for Creme. As he did definitely come up as being a big assassin player. As we'll see what Kanavi probably wants to respond with this Skarner with. That would be weird. That'd be interesting.
That'd be a Kanavi special if they actually do want to pull it off. Which I usually, when we see the Rumble and the Yone, the Sejuani has been a nice pairing just to try and empower that Yone. That said, Kanavi might continue the trend of the carries as it's Lilia into Skarner. So we'll see if they're able to ramp up, and that definitely dissuades Team WE from picking more melees. As Gwen on the board, and it's been a really OP pick and something that you can play into Rumble, even if you don't win that early lane phase. But we could see Team WE and Cube go for something different, as that double magic damage topside will actually lead to the Galio. And for me, this really makes the mid game important for Team WE. I think they need to really hit their stride before Lilia gets to that 2-3 item breakpoint and can already deal with the double melees that Team WE will be showing. So for me, this matchup, again, the Galio into the Rumble, you are a neutralizer, but where you really excel is your ability to impact the mid game, get out of lane, and then be that menace that Galio can be in those early fights, bring in the utility with the R, that AoE taunt, and the W. I think it just really makes it important that Team WE is able to hit that stride, because Rumble does eventually outscale you later on into the game, and I really like the scaling the top showing with that Rumble and Lilia already.
Yeah, I do like the way that WE have set up their top side, though. And if it gets matched with a nice scaling bot lane for Taeyoon and Vampire, can result in some really good 5v5s overall for this WE composition. However, the top esports, they've got some skirmishers, they got some scrappers, and they definitely have like the damage profile on the top side in an advantage right now.
Yeah, I gotta say, Taeyoon loves his Ezreal. And yeah, okay, that's gonna be insta-locked in. I think Ezreal made sense for both teams here. I would have kind of liked an Ashe, potentially, for Team WE. Just the slows could be really valuable in making sure that Skarner and Galio can actually get on top of the comp that top esports has. But, of course, would be pretty immobile into the Yone, Lilia, and Rumble. So opting for that Ezreal, as Team WE now can kind of fully dive and make sure that Taeyoon can handle his own business in that backside. So see what ends up happening here for JackeyLove. Going up against a lot of dive, and the Ezreal going to opt in for the Corki and try and shred through that Skarner and Galio. And Chris going to rock the Alistar. So Alistar's going to be really nice here, just having the ult and double spell rotations, hopefully, against Team WE. Could be a big difference.
And Vampire locks in the Nico, so we got a lot of very strong AoE crowd control ultimates here for WE.
It's winnable for WE. Like, they have a lot of circles they can bring and try and overwhelm top esports, who will be a much squishier composition and are at risk of being overwhelmed by a Galio, Skarner, Nico, and these guys can force really hard with his ears. So I think that WE really has potential here. My concern is that we have seen Monki on the Skarner, and we have seen Team WE, Monki and Vampire, sometimes play too fast. So they need to play fast this game. It's just, are they going to take fights that are good and on their terms, or are they going to overextend and take fights that, while they might be finding the engages, can their team follow up? It's been something that WE has struggled with in their early series games. So I think a real game to look to see if that has improved going into match 3 for Team WE. Of course, we'll play 18 best of 3s in this format, which is just ballistic to think about.
We're only at number 3 for WE.
Yeah.
Again, they've played the least amount of games actually so far out of anybody in Group Ascend. They have yet to win a game, but obviously that could change at a moment's notice. We've seen teams like FPX grow a lot ever since, you know, the early games that they played, and now with WE on their home court per se, have maybe an opportunity to do that with, I think, a relatively easy to execute comp. I will say Taeyoon, I think, has to do a lot in this game on the Ezreal to match up on the DPS, because while there is a lot of setup, it has to be followed up upon by some of the backline carries that W have.
Definitely something to look out for. Curious to see if we can see Team WE. For me, like, what this comp needs to do is something that they've had an issue with, and that is forcing, but forcing at the right time, at the right mark. So just really curious to see if they can patch that up against the much stronger expected opponent in top esports. But I do think their comp has winnable angles. So I feel like this is a good test for Team WE to see if they really have improved, and if they are a little bit closer to maybe finding wins than what we think. I definitely felt that way going back through the tape, and see if they can prove themselves today in their home arena against top esports.
Hey, what a first win it would be against the defending champions, right? I mean, would not be super crazy, just given some of the other results that we've had, obviously, but definitely an upset for WE if they did pick up this win. It feels like, honestly, at this point, any win for them would be an upset, just given the expectations that we had from them coming in, but that can all change as soon as they look just a little bit better in some of their games.
Yeah, for sure. You know, at least we're hoping to have a glass half full scenario here for Team WE, who again, Taeyoon has been really the performer on this team, who we felt like has been strong, the most consistent performer, and this Ezreal has been a big pick for him. So do want to see if Taeyoon's able to keep on playing well, as he has been a real bright spot on a team that again has seen some struggles.
They had such a tough split one, and had to make that roster change. Monki coming in split two. They were barely able to make it into that last chance qualifier off of, I think, literally a tiebreaker match that they played at the bottom of their group, and that eventually led to them making it up here. So pretty impressive stuff from them.
It's been nice to see this team. We again try and show some signs of scaling early on, but still looking for more. Going to need more today if they want to take down top esports. Take inventory of this game. Grapes, looks like our jungler is going to have a mirrored clear, as Monki and Kanavi, both in their respective red buff sides, will find themselves on opposite sides of the map, doing the same camps. Nice scenario here for Kanavi on the Lilia, who really wants to have that super clear by taking the respawn Raptors and Krugs early on after that first crab. And to start the Raptors to try and set that up. A mirrored clear for sure makes it a lot easier to try and pull it off. You're only really worried about the respawn Raptors. Should be a rather stagnant game unless Monki wants to contest those. But Lilia, really important that she's able to be safe early and start to ramp up throughout these games.
And should be able to do a good amount of damage, especially to the front line here of WE. Going forward a little bit onto Karis. Be able to just get a little bit of poke down, as there's the headbutt hold actually on a Vampire, but it will be matched by Monki, who skipped over the blue buff to be at this play first. JackeyLove forced to flash away, and nicely flashed by Crisp as well to make sure that Monki cannot throw that boulder onto JackeyLove to keep the AD carry alive.
It's still, for me, kind of a disrespectful trade from top esports. They know that the Monkey's gonna, they didn't know that Monkey was gonna be on this side. They do know that Kanavi was far away from this side, as was a blue buff skipped over by Monkey. So it looks like he is going to smite this for level 4, and Kanavi is going really deep here. Monkey has help from his team. Kanavi gonna try and get help from Creme, but he's a little stuck.
Lands onto the Lilia. Kanavi might have gone a little bit too far forward here. Creme going in as well as Vampire, and it will be first blood secured by WE, matched by Creme, but surely to be a 2-for-1 as top esports bite off way more than they can chew.
Just a really puzzling invade from Kanavi. There is nothing that warrants that, as again, like JackeyLove and Crisp were forced out. JackeyLove had to base off the back half of that, right? Like, you're guaranteed to be down numbers going into that play. A really puzzling one from Kanavi, as I will say Taeyoon and Vampire did have the option to try and flip the map there, go top, and a guarantee a Grubs contest will not take it. But don't really know why that first play was attempted, and top esports kind of giving an early gift over to Team WE.
Is this the game, Cubby? I don't know. Like all this, like that. Maybe top esports playing a little too fast and loose here. They obviously know coming in that they are the favorites, but I feel like a play like that was, again, as you said, disrespectful to the current state of the game. So we'll see if that ends up coming back to bite them at all. It still looks like invading is going to be important for Kanavi, but now Monki is actually up a level as he goes for the second respawn of the Raptors.
Which would be nice to secure. Kanavi does have Smite. So we have
get it.
Yeah. A little bit of traded the littles for the bigs, you know. Splitting up those chicken nuggets a little bit. As it does look like Top Esports did opt in for the swap themselves. Will be 369 in that 1v2 scenario. And Cryo early showing for the Grubs for Top Esports is they have that bot lane up top, showing strength in numbers up there. So likely just be a swap here for WE. It looks like Monki looking at that dragon. It actually might look for something more appetizing. I will say Crisp is on the hover, has not been spotted.
Really go for the dive. The wave is still here, but now 369 does have the equalizer, and as you say, Crisp is here as well. Gonna come in with the headbutt pull. Monki has to try to get over the wall with the Ixtal's impact, pops his shield, but the Flame Spitter of 369 will burn him down. And now, Taeyoon and Vampire could be the next targets. Electro Harpoon connect. Crisp looking for another combo. Taeyoon still has his flash, and will use it really nicely to get away from the knockout.
And, I mean, this is what we kind of were hinting at with WE. Like, Monki going for that play, would it be great to pull off a dive onto the Rumble? Absolutely, but Crisp wasn't spotted on the map. He was lying in wait, and Monki goes in. They don't connect anything with Vampire on the setup, who I think cleverly was actually trying to tank the tower with turning into a cannon minion. Can be a really nice mechanic for the Nico. Missed his Q, so wasn't able to set this up. Again, take another look. Vampire, he's going to miss the Q, then turn into a cannon minion, which would have been really nice for tanking the turret, but this misses. And like for Team WE and Monki, I mean, why are we going for this? Like, why not just take the free dragon that's in front of you? Like, again, Crisp isn't spotted on the map. You got to respect that. Monki is flashless, so going for that play has risk involved in the first place. It should have been a free dragon setup.
Not even.
Okay. Look for round 2. This time 369, no flash.
No ulti either. This could finally be the kill, as it will be the Feat of Warfare secured for WE. But it came at the cost of a lot on the other side of things. Again, 2 kills. Or 1 kill and then the flash here. So the dragon now can be started up as Kanavi was able to get all 3 of those grubs. Back to that play again, just a little bit of underestimation of what Top Esports could do. I mean, for me, as soon as 369 hits level 6, you back off there.
I actually like this from Monki. He's going to delay his own dragon take to at least delay the base of Creme. That's not all bad.
Blood Drop again. Lilting Lullaby actually does connect on to Vampire. They try to chase him down, but actually nice distance collected there by the support of WE by flashing away. And so it will just be those summoner spells off the Nico.
So I gotta say, like, Monki has pulled off that dragon twice now for looks, and because I think he's been spotted and just not perma on the camps, you have seen Kanavi, despite giving up that pretty rough first blood, be able to start to build up a lead in this matchup. And once Lilia gets ramping throughout the jungle, she does not slow down throughout the entire game. So that will be something that Team WE will be difficult for them to deal with. Again, I think as time goes on, scaling is going to be really, really nice here for Top Esports. Like, this Galio in the Rumble matchup, I just don't think that you scale into this at all as the Galio. You really need to hit this 1-2 item spike and drive home your mid game hard. And I'm just really concerned about what Lilia can do against the team. So onus on WE for me to still execute. And because of that failed play bot and pulling off that dragon twice, I really feel like Monki and WE, this game has slowed down a little bit too much for where they want it to be.
But again, when they were the ones trying to push the pace, it was them making perhaps bad decisions. Where they go for a failed dive on a 369. So it's not about just making plays, it's about making the right plays, right? And so now WE have an opportunity maybe to go for this dragon, where they should have probably picked it up 3 or 4 minutes ago, but instead waiting it out a little bit, going for some unnecessary plays, and now finally turning their attention to it.
Yeah, we'd love to snag this one soon, but Kanavi is working his way down to this side of the map, showing numbers, showing power there. Kanavi even showing an extra level compared to where Monki's at. Is this posturing a little bit dangerous here for WE?
We'll say Q can
Vampire
get their Hero's entrance a little bit quicker as Pop Blossom comes out from Vampire, but it does not find a target. There's a Hero's entrance we talked about, and the Dragon will be secured, but the Equalizer is burning WE down very quickly and will be forced to back away. the top esports don't get any kills, but they do force at least that flash out of Monki before the dragon goes down.
Honestly, that was really well managed by Chris. He baited a lot out that was used onto him that's going to guarantee the fact that the second grubs go to top esports. So for me, I actually don't love this scenario for WE because I think they're going to be down 6-0 grubs here in a second. That's going to make the game really hard for them.
Yeah, well, see if they actually are able to reset. It looks like
it should be
the case. Monki,
yeah, the tools for top.
Right,
like the fact that we use a throw entrance there, that really hurts the fight. As Nico ult, Galio ult, both very significant. Chris did a really nice job of baiting that out. And those 6 grubs going over. And this is exactly what you want as a Yone. 6 grubs and going into the Galio. I like how they're looking for this side lane matchup. I actually think this is one of the reasons why not only we see the Yone Rumble pairing, but we have seen a lot less Galio in a Rumble. Oftentimes, these champions get paired together, and in the mid game, just sending the Yone into the Galio really nerfs a lot of his power because he doesn't have that big magic damage shield and the first MR item to slow down the Yone, right? That's built to slow down the Rumble. So it can really put him in a tough spot.
Now we'll see how WE decide to allocate their lanes here. It's Kanavi going for a very aggressive invade. Looks like Cube and Monki want to maybe try to punish this a little bit, but Kanavi sniffs it out, ends up backing away, and will not end up securing that last grub. Wow. He's like, Kanavi might be cooking a little too hard here.
He can get away with it.
I don't know.
He can get away with that one for sure. As throws out the ball and take the ward, and
it's like farming clips right now in an official game.
Oh, this is nice though from WE. They managed to sneak in here. 369 has flash.
Try to get away, maybe from the pop blossom. No, he just knows he's dead. So that is WE getting themselves another big pick. I feel like 369 playing a little bit too far after seeing everybody, you know, because of Kanavi. So that's a bit of a mistake.
That was a good look. Again, free play taken by WE. And again, like the theme of this team, it's not like we haven't seen WE make plays or take leads. We just haven't been able to see them snowball it from start to finish. As Karis going back in there, actually the TP from the Galio gets the flash. But again, a grubless push coming in from Monki. There's nothing really able to happen or do on the map. He's going to try and pick up some plates for himself in a kind of goofy scenario.
You don't see this happen very often.
No. He's rocking the wave.
This is like a jungler's dream. Oh, I TP'd. Alright, you can take the wave. Try to get a plate.
Yeah. This is actually how Rafa thinks jungle should be played.
on the Nidalee though, it makes sense, right?
Oh, just period. in general.
Oh, calling out our boy. He's
still
down in CS though. He's still down like 20. That goes to show that Kanavi really has been power farming here in this game.
Yeah, and it was after the mistake too. Again, I feel like W and Monki just really slowed this game down by refusing to take that first dragon, looking for other plays that one was unwarranted. The revisit on the 369 was nice, but like taking that dragon out of time is just more important. Risk.
Very tanky right now. I mean,
yeah.
Kanavi has the full Leandries. I feel like even at this point, not going to be enough to duel it out without the help of some other people here. So we'll see connects here onto the Skarner. As another smite fight actually goes Monki's way. Fate sealed up from Creme, lands on a 2. He's going to be forced to snap back with that soul unbound. And so another fruitless endeavor for Kanavi on the bottom side jungle.
Yeah, but also a kind of a miss from WE. I gotta give some credit to Creme, as that Fate Seal locked up a potential follow-up onto Kanavi, as the Pop Blossom was used for nothing, and that ult's not going to be available for the Dragon. So for me, it advantage top esports on a potential Dragon setup. I would love to see them actually send Creme up towards that top side before this Dragon spawns, just so that they can try and utilize the fact that like he's no ult. He can shove faster on that top side and does have the TP to threaten the join. So for me, him going top gives them more of an option to drop if they want to, as I really think the time is still to friend top esports. So, again, Lilia gets to 2-3 items here, and I think the game gets a lot safer with a Riftmaker and a Zhonya's in the hands of a Lilia compared to where we're at now, where Kanavi is still quite vulnerable to being picked out on the map, which I really feel like is the key for WE to start off their fights.
Haven't really looked for anything other than when top esports is forcing the initiative onto them. So a bit more reserved for WE at this point. They actually still have the gold lead with a lot of it kind of being, spread across the bottom lane specifically, Taeyoon and Vampire have been able to get a little bit ahead just because of the kills that were granted to them off of the lane swap. Dragon has been started up by WE, and without Kanavi here, it should probably belong to them unless Top Esports have anything to say about it.
No, it's going to be a give. Oh, hold on. Late TP.
Dragon goes over. The question
Watch
is,
Chris.
will the fight be won by Top Esports? 369 teleports in. Karis dashes in between the blue buff pit.
Chris.
And that's followed up by a really nice knockup from Chris. He gets popped up by the Pop Blossom. Two-man pop will connect from Cube as well. WE winning out on this fight is now 369 is in a lot of trouble. Creme trying to salvage things here with the Soul Unbound. Will use the Fate Seal to try to escape from Blasco and to buy some time as well. But the Top Esports again just don't have to go for that fight, and it ends up costing them 2 of their lives.
Yeah, we talked so much about WE, how we feel like they've overextended on some plays. This was an overextension from Top Esports to try and find the fight after the Dragon was taken. And they committed I think too hard and too far in the WE, but the big key, we teased the fact that Kanavi could get picked off. Doesn't have the tankier items and Desanias especially to help protect him. When Karis dashed in here, I got a little bit concerned, but 369 missed out both harpoons. I thought it was a nice in from Chris, but Kanavi.
Oh!
Creme, we can't be
getting
soloed
no
by
flash,
Karis.
no ulti.
Yeah, it was no flash, no ult. It looks like Karis, Creme TP'd here and just died. I'm kind of curious what that full fight looks like. It's Vampire, no flash, likely to be caught.
Okay. They get one back here, but overall, I think I used the word disrespectful a little bit earlier. Like, that's continuing to be a trend here for Top. Not really understanding how to play the composition out.
The big thing here is that just Kanavi got picked. They really need fights to go long for Kanavi. Kanavi being there and that far up, getting Starner yoinked, being at threat to be Galio bonked too from the heroic entrance is a mistake. One that I don't think we're going to see Kanavi make again in this game, quite frankly. But was a nice win for Team WE.
Still up about 1,500 gold. Lead still very small at this point. And Top Esports
rolled a nice soul.
Are able to get some other things across the map. Yes, the Hextech Soul will be good, especially like for the backline carries of the Azir and the Ezreal. Going to do a lot. How do we die here?
Oh, because we TP'd there instead of the turret. That's actually just it.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, 8 the Emperor's Divide. You know,
more action on the top side as Monki now very, very low. The Equalizer ate almost the entirety of it, but will be able to get away.
It looks like there was a Impale burned from Monki. I see no flashes being used by 369 and Kanavi, so both sides walking out of that skirmish. It will be Team WE keeping pressure up in that top side as they have Karis and Vampire still hanging around. And that should lead to this turret being knocked down. It will be traded for that bot outer as Creme and Chris make sure to make quick work of that one. So Top Esports is going to keep things stable on the map, but still find themselves a little bit down to this game, Grapes. This game, again, like we said that WE had a couple of winning, a couple of potential winning angles here. And so far it's been so good. I don't think they play this game quite as fast as they wanted to or needed to, but they have been making, for the most part, the right call. Like outside of dropping that first dragon a few times and taking it way later on the clock than what it should have been, that's been the biggest mistake we've seen so far. But besides that, it's been pretty good for WE.
And remember, they have a composition that can win out on these 5v5, especially if they have a lead for themselves. That lead definitely is available for them right now. Taeyoon at 2 completed items. He's going to have to do the bulk of the damage in a potential fight around this Hextech Dragon that is spawning in about a minute and change. But the setup for him is going to be amazing. You have the Azir, you have the Nico, you have the Skarner, the Galio, so all set up for WE to have a really good opportunity to break this game open around winning the neutral objectives. Creme, trouble here. He buffers out really nicely all the crowd control from both the Impale and the Emperor's Divide. Teleport comes in from Cube, but it's not going to find anything as WE only get themselves that tower on the bot side as their reward.
Yeah, honestly puts WE in a little bit of a precarious position because I think Karis is going to have to base and fix topside. His TP is coming up. 369 with 3 grubs likely to clean up this outer turret, so it will just be a trade in the end. As you called out, Creme burned his flash, but put his way out of that one nicely.
Actually, they're sending Cube up there, so WE maybe okay to give up one of these dragons, as Kanavi is the jungler right now in the bottom side. As the Otacon is also there. Karis now just use the shifting sands to escape, because this entire team not around this pit for the objective setup.
An objective setup being buffed up for top esports by this Herald being dropped on time, but JackeyLove dissuaded from following through the charge to the turret. Instead, going to use that one to retreat to the dragon. We'll see if top esports does get a quick start on this one. Team WE going to be fighting uphill, or I should say downhill, as they try and push top esports through the bot river. You have an angle if they want it around the lower side of the dragon, because no one is there marking them.
Fire has his flash, but here comes 369 with the equalizer. Does a lot of jobs buying space. Really nice knockup from Crisp as well. Pop Blossom only going on to the Alistar. At the hero's entrance, will try to lock him down as well. Two-man taunt though.
Yeah,
connects. Kanavi is down. The dragon goes over to top esports, but now it is a 5v3 across the map for WE to try to take control over. Cube lands some damage onto JackeyLove, force him to valk away, and that will be it. But WE win yet another engagement.
Right, we started the day saying that WE, they've really thrown away leads by overcommitting into opponents. And what have we seen so far from top esports this game? It's been pure overcommits in the team WE, as again, Kanavi goes in too soon, doesn't have a Seekers or any Mercury Treads yet to try and get out of all this hard CC that he's facing, and gets schmelted again. Also, the equalizer from 369, I mean, it bought space to try and finish off the dragon. Pretty low value overall. Chris has a really nice engage here, but they're not in the position to follow it up. The Galio ult buys so much space in the choke, and then Kanavi just pretty much throws his life away going in there into the hands of Cube, who was channeling the taunt. They just really haven't seen the angles that Kanavi has seen so far in this game. It really feels like he's thrown his life away all 3 times.
Yeah, it's half the team was still focused on making sure they didn't give away soul point, right? And so when you're Crisp and you're going in, sure, the 3-man knockup, it looks nice on paper, but there's no follow-up. And it's a very funny dichotomy, Cubby, between what we were saying about WE coming into this game, and now top esports is down 3,000 gold to them. Yeah, Chris is probably dead.
No ult. Yep.
Lands a knockup on it too. How quickly will they get each person down?
That
Actually, still surviving.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on. Here comes Kanavi. JackeyLove, though, getting chased down by Monki, but a teleport comes in from Creme. Nice flash away over the red buff pit wall. He will not get stopped by the Fate Seals, but Monki just doesn't have enough DPS. It is going to be another kill picked up here for JackeyLove, and the equalizer comes down into Karis as well. This could be the throw right back, as it will be a double kill picked up for Jackie.
And the overcommit comes in for WE as the big difference in that fight. Chris lived for so long, managed to get the stun off on the Taeyoon, and he got deleted by Kanavi.
And as soon as we're saying something good about WE, it goes right back to what they were doing and what some of their mistakes ended up being earlier on in the season. It will allow for Kanavi to start up the Otacon, likely to go over the top.
It's going to be contested, though. Taeyoon's firing that ult off. That actually could get a kill.
Oh, yeah. He's dead! Oh, he snipes him down. The Otacon doing the final hit. Down to 4,000. Cube is here as well.
Cube's in there.
Gotta try to smite this one, and it is secure, but now the rose petals are here, and WE can be the one to claim all of this unless top esports fight their way out of this. Knockup lands on a Taeyoon. He's tethered right back out as the hero's entrance will prevent it from going down. But Taeyoon is having his free reign to hit as many of these blood roses as he wants, and now Monki can dash in as well. Takes a hard steel proc onto Chris. Creme lands a knockup onto
Taeyoon.
3. JackeyLove doing a lot of damage. Him and Kanavi have to win this fight themselves in a 2v5 right now as Karis is joining the fight with ult. Or sorry, doesn't have the ult, and so will not be able to get much. And now Monki can claim the reward. Top esports did the hard and did the heavy lifting for them, and now they have the Blood Rose advantage.
And that Otacon was really forced hard by top esports, unwarranted, as they weren't able to tank it up as a team and not able to get the flowers. I mean, that is the true prize when that Otacon spawns. You can see the 37-16 and showing in some of these experience bars for WE. As, okay, we're going to go all the way back. Chris gets caught out here. The big thing is that Taeyoon eat in, and it looks like he missed that Essence Flux. If he hits that, Chris gets deleted, and the rest of this play doesn't happen, but that goes to the wayside, and then Taeyoon, who was sunless, already burned shift, gets deleted on the way in. And top were way faster to TP, and this is a WE TP from Karis, where it's like, why exactly do we like TP in to fix that, and when? I think that these are the types of TPs where when you see the enemy going in, you just kind of have to TP to be on time with your team. But him being in late was tough, and then top esports again covered that one as we saw 369. He did go down to that Ezreal R. Don't be fooled. He dies, and this fight is disastrous for top, who were down ultimates. You can see it in the bottom of your screen, and WE were just able to chase them as they lost their health bars to the Otacon. And Monki takes a really nice angle here. I feel like this is a good commit from Monki, who did get out with very little HP, but at least he split the fight with that E on the Skarner and got a flash out of Kanavi in the back half. That's well worth it. Gives them a target to look for as Kanavi now flashless and still doesn't have that Seekers, and we've seen how one-sided the fights for WE go if they are able to take the Lilia off right away.
And gold lead's only about 1,000 in favor of WE at this point, but this Blood Rose is going to do a good amount in terms of the adaptive force and also in terms of the experience. Look around the map, specifically Vampire, 2 levels up on the Crisp right now. That's a big advantage that WE will be able to possess. See level 16 dinged early on for Karis. He goes with the upgraded boots. After finishing off that 2-item spike, you want to be at as powerful of a position as possible for the spawning of this next dragon.
Cube does catch that harpoon on the way out. Actually going to be looked at by Creme.
Knockup is going to connect. Just a little bit of chunking down onto the Galio here. As teleport also came in from Karis into the mid lane.
He's going to fight over that chunk too. Yeah, top esports not chunked out yet, so Cube going to missing a little bit of health before this fight starts. He's doing a nice job of fogging and hiding. They haven't spotted 369 off the side yet, as he does just show his face.
Here comes Chris. He's going to look for the engage. No smite available as Kanavi not arriving yet. And so that will just be...
I mean, this is tough for top.
Over WE.
They're completely cut off. They're not committing to the inner. This could easily be the mid-inner falling in favor of WE2 as top esports shifted towards bot to contest that objective. Kind of played a game of chicken as W say, you're not going to extend and hit that inner turret. We're stronger than you. You'd be positioning yourself for a fight. And it leaves a free inner turret for WE. So not only do they get the objective, get themselves a soul point, also get mid-inner. Start to extend that gold lead back in their favor a little bit more.
That may even going towards... No, not the Baron. They're going to try to bait things out here. A little Death Brush setup. They were spotted by that vision ward there. Monki is available for the taking. Teleport comes in though. It looks like actually a full 5v5 could be brewing here around the Baron, but the True Shot Barrage goes wide, but in comes the flash engage for Monki. Kanavi, all of a sudden in a lot of trouble, gets hit up by the Impale. The Pop Blossom lands onto Chris. Kanavi forced to go golden early. Taeyoon dashes away, but they will end up getting 2 kills early on. 369 gets one back, as it will be the Skarner falling, and now it has to be Creme and JackeyLove doing the heavy lifting here. Fate Seal lands on a 2. Creme has the opportunity to do wonders in this team fight and forces Karis to flash out.
Ends up being a 3 for 2. Really important that top esports were able to fight back in that one, because if it was a clean fight for WE, you got to imagine that they're taking Baron right now. But a lot was burned for Kanavi early on, who managed to live throughout that fight quite a bit. The Seekers being in there helped. I like the idea, though, from Monki to burn that flash to get on the Lilia right away, as we're going to take a second look. Again, executing Lilia, taking her out of the fight, I think is really important for WE in this game. Monki burns the flash, actually finds a stun around the corner. The big thing, though, Q being canceled at the heroic entrance leads the Vampire not getting the best Pop Blossom out, as it only hits that ulted up Alistar. And Karis gets a little bit stuck on this side of the fight, with Taeyoon being forced out thanks to 369. So the rest of this fight's kind of on even footing, and Creme gets a lot of value in the back half on the Yone. So again, really important that top esports were able to actually force Taeyoon out and make sure that he couldn't run the rest of the fight with WE, because if he lives in that fight early on, Grapes, you got to imagine they're able to chase and potentially start the Baron in that one. So I know the ult from 369 didn't kill Taeyoon on the Ezreal, but the fact that he got him low enough to force him back was really big to make sure the top esports could somewhat even up the fight and prevent those neutrals from falling after.
Yeah, an effective kill in terms of like combat stats.
Yeah, exactly.
In the fight the rest of the time. Taeyoon was unable to contribute the rest of that, even though he was avoiding the death timer and some of the gold going over. Again, it did allow for top esports to get themselves back into this one, and the scaling is starting to arrive here, Cubby. We're nearing level 16 on both Jackie and 369. JackeyLove specifically also has 3 items, an Infinity Edge picked up for Creme. And once we get that Zanya's in from Kanavi, top esports is really fully online, and that's when we can really start to see them shine.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, we haven't talked a lot about the Yone changes, but this is one where I feel like it's really important for the game, because of course he got the crit scaling back to 100% from 90 and got some more damage in his kit, but the trade-off is that your E no longer snaps you out of CC. which is a really big deal in this game with stuff like the Galio, like the Azir. Creme has to be really careful on how he's able to execute this one. The fact that he has that Infinity Edge in his inventory, if Yona's not dealt with, it's going to be really scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's
whoa, we're ripping this.
Potential risky situation for top
Karis,
esports
no TP
now.
yet.
Kanavi, again, doesn't have that stopwatch as he used the Seeker's Arm Guard early on, but this Baron does burst down quickly with JackeyLove hitting on it with the Corki. Monki already in the pit and not actually allowing that Baron to reset. Chris goes in with the headbutt pull. Hero's entrance is going to come out and knock up Creme, and there comes a big impale as well. Creme could be in a lot of trouble. Creme is dead, but it is matched by Monki falling. JackeyLove can still do a lot. Look at 369 to the back line, but he's going to die anyway. Karis dashing in. Forces the flash away from Jackie, and it's only him and Kanavi left alive. Another 3 for 2 for WE.
Should be a reset, though, from WE as they have more people on the map to hit the Baron, as that just misses JackeyLove. And we teased the changes to the Yone and the E, the snapback. We really saw it come to fruition there, as at the expiration of the E, there was so much chain CC that went down on the Yone. Creme got 100-0'd in a fight that kind of looked like it was top esports favorite at the start. Big engagement on the Monki, just keep your eyes on the Creme. It gets stunned up there, gets heroic entrance, gets suppressed, gets impaled. You can see that E cooldown. It's off with the chain CC that came in. Yone was never able to snap back until he hit that gray screen. And yeah, 369, he melts through the Galio on the back half, but Taeyoon melts through him in return, so the carries stay standing here for WE, are out on the map first and going to help out with this dragon setup a lot, as now it's going to be top esports that have to try and fight their way uphill in this one. Big key though, Kanavi did wrap up that Zanya's, so Kanavi much stronger for this fight.
Karis, though, we saw how powerful he was in that last fight, and now Monki going in again with the Ixtal's impact. Kanavi already forced down half HP. There comes Vampire with a two-man Plot Blossom. Crisp is locked down as well, but here comes Creme. Fate Seal, though, only onto one. JackeyLove goes down. Karis with a massive play, and the Emperor's Divide will take down another. Kanavi forced to go golden. He'll flash away, but he gets taunted up again by Cube. Taeyoon finishing the job there, and he shifts over the wall to take down 369. It's a triple kill for the Ezreal, the Ace, and the Hextech Soul for WE.
I was about to say, that's a Hex Soul for WE. You gotta imagine that might just spell the game here, as the QSS for Yone. Creme has it now. Maybe it gets them out of something. Maybe they can find a big fight afterwards, but WE, this Hex Soul is going to be huge for them, at least trying to match some of the scaling, and also just enabling them to really find picks on the Lilia, close the gap with this Skarner and Galio later on. Going to be huge for them, as quietly Taeyoon has been doing his job in this game, and we really see the impact that Taeyoon finally felt to max impact in this one as the start of the fight for top esports. JackeyLove and Kanavi just throw away half of their HP bar for nothing. I thought for a second that it was Monki committing too hard in here, as this looks a little bit scary in the back half. It's a nice equalizer in the Fate Sealed from Creme and 369, but Taeyoon gets out of the combo. Karis makes sure to pick up Creme on the back half, as I thought Karis had a brilliant fight on this Azir and opened up all the space that Taeyoon needed, who was keeping himself healthy, keeping himself mobile on the back line of this fight to clean up and play janitor in this one. And that's going to be a huge advantage now for WE as Creme.
Yeah, to go QSS. Yeah, that's the difference in terms of
Crisp is stuck.
New patch here. Now Kanavi in some trouble as well, and Karis just bursts him down. So that's the jungler for top esports dead. WE should get this Baron easily and add to their already massive lead. Creme dashes to the wall. It looks like top esports want to force a fight in a 4v5 situation. Creme with the Soul Unbound. The Baron surely to get bursted, and that will be top esports forced to run away. Monki dashing forward, looking to try to find somebody that gets buffered with the Fate Seal. That's JackeyLove now has to Valk away. The chase continues though for WE. Will Monki go too far forward? He gets knocked up. Vampire though, with the Pop Blossom, only finds one, and Taeyoon is hunting down top esports. That's 369 dead. 3 more kills for WE.
WE continue to put the finishing touches on this game one. Again, have yet to pick up a game win in Group Ascend, but we felt like going through the tape, it was a bit closer than what we thought for WE. And in a really poor game from top esports, I mean, I gotta say, Kanavi has been so off in this one on this Lilia. It feels like all these deaths have been coming in too early in the fight, and of course, picking Lilia into Skarner Galio, you do have to be careful about getting CC'd. He really played into it early on in this game. They really slowed down the ramping, and also just the lack of dragons being taken. This Hex Soul for WE is massive. As Creme.
He's just already dead. He just gets sent underneath this tier 3 turret. 369's up in 10 seconds, but I think that could just be it. It's 3v5 on the map with the Baron minion wave crashing into the Nexus turret. Only one of them still left alive. Taeyoon in the enemy fountain finally gets shut down here by JackeyLove, and all of a sudden the Nexus is exposed, but will it be enough? There comes Kanavi trying to get down the Nexus, but no, it's WE who win their first game of the Ascension stage.
It was nearly a surprise in the end, but a huge win for WE on Red's side too, as they really stepped up in that game. And, you know, again, the onus on them was to make plays with that Skarner and the Galio. It felt like Top Esports made it easy for them to make plays because they really overplayed their hand into the comp with WE multiple times here, Graves. That opened up the angles for WE to find the win in that game.
And yeah, I mean, that was just from start to finish, WE outplaying the defending LPL champions. As that was a surprising result, but again, you were highlighting it in the clips. You believed a little bit in this team, and you thought they had more in the chamber to offer. But yeah, I will also say that was Top Esports playing one of their worst games of the whole season. It
was not good. I mean, like again, with looking at some teams that aren't top of the league, some changes are more easily fixable than others. And when I looked at WE, it's like, okay, let's just not extend past certain lines in fights. And like, how much easier does life get for us? Well, it gets all the more easier when the enemy team then starts extending past those lines that you were messing up in the first place and playing into you. And like, how many fights do we see, you know, Cube's Galio just take up so much essential space for his team? Or Kanavi died early on in like the first handful of fights, regardless of that first invade. On a champ where you are Lilia, right? You want to ramp through the fights and be big later on. It just really felt like Top Esports did not respect the win cons of WE. And it gave WE a really solid game where I feel like we're used to seeing Taeyoon perform on this team, but you know, Vampire had a decent game. I thought that Karis had a really nice game, actually stepped up really big for this team, and Monki had a couple iffy Skarner games in the year so far, put up a good one that time around. So I see WE put it together, take a game off Top Esports, and now it's going to be a real challenge for Top Esports to play their way out of this one.
Gotta win 2 straight, which I think was their expectation coming in, but now it's a necessity for them in order to win this series to keep pace with what Anyone's Legends has to offer. They're already going to be down now in game score because they have picked up their 5th total loss, I believe, of the season. And this is what is surprising here for Top is that, or for just this LPL Ascension group in general, is that as soon as we start to think we understand what's going on, a snap of a finger and all of a sudden WE is facing a match point against Top Esports here in a regular season game.
We'll see. Not exactly what we were expecting coming into the night, but let's see what happens at the end of the night. We'll play the games for a reason, and it is nice to see, of course, W and FPX were the 2 teams that joined the top 8 teams from Split 1 to make up this group ascend. And we have seen FPX in more games really be able to scale up, put up better performances, take games off of good teams in this group. Nice to see Team WE do the same here. Again, we're hoping this group's a little bit more competitive than what the expectations are. These are the 2 teams that are really new, kind of be included in the Split 1, you know, top of the table. And see WE take this game, and the way they did, I feel like it was more so mistakes from Top Esports than fantastic play from WE. But you'll take those as WE. They caught those throws in stride and were able to put together a nice game 1 win.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how WE got into this group ascend at all. They beat EDG twice in a tiebreaker, and then got into that last chance qualifier where they were able to finally, you know, just win a couple of best of series in a row against LGD and then Ultra Prime. And now they're here taking games off of Top Esports, which I don't think many people were expecting. And you see the damage charts right now. Taeyoon went ballistic. I think it's like 1,300 damage per minute on this Ezreal, but I want to shout out Karis, and if I had to play the game vote, it might go to him even over Taeyoon because of the initiations that he was able to dish out and his decisiveness in some of these later team fights. We're going to get a full look at the replays here, and this is the start of bad plays here for Top.
If I'm to be honest, I think Kanavi, unfortunately, is the MVP for WE this game. As
sure, yeah.
like the first few fights, like I don't know where Kanavi's at. Again, like this invade was so unwarranted. His AD is in base, and it's not like you know, Creme was able to respond first. As we're gonna miss out on a few other plays from Kanavi getting caught out into this one, where he did get caught out, but was able to buy a lot of time. It's just like one of the closer fights, but it still was WE that ended up coming out on top in the back half. Like it took big plays from the rest of Top Esports even just to get this one on even footing, right?
Yeah, and there were times where we were like, okay, Top Esports surely are going to come back here, right? JackeyLove is really strong. You see Creme having a nice team fight here, but it just never really fully came together for them. And some of those mistakes that we were talking about WE having came back and actually started affecting Top a little bit here. Really nicely played team fighting over the overall for RWE, and I don't want to discredit them at all. It is just weird to see Top Esports have, you know, a game like this. I mean, obviously they didn't perform too well in the international, but domestically it's been pretty smooth sailing for them.
It has, but I guess the last couple series, like, starting to see a couple more holes poked in Top Esports potentially. I still think they can bring this one back. It's just such a weird game for me just seeing Kanavi play this far up and be caught out. And the engages from Chris too, it felt like they were nice, like well played. Like Alistar was getting a lot, but the team wasn't really there to respond. So yeah, just a really weird game. Like when you mix all that in with JackeyLove being relatively invisible. Pretty rare one for JackeyLove, who, good or bad, seems to define games at times. And yeah, I want to see if A, we can see W continue to play like this, but B, we just have to see Top Esports put together a better map. Because again, like, Kanavi just really puzzled me in the early map there, and I feel like he has been really strong for Top Esports in this split. So we'll see if the rest of the team can bounce back for game 2.
Get one more fight look here. Taeyoon, this is where he really started to come online. A lot of damage dealt here on the Ezreal, and then the game was basically over at this point. He goes a little bit too far forward. For a second, I was like, oh no, this would be like the worst thing to ever happen to lose this game off of this position, but Karis gets in there, finishes the job. And yeah, WE, again, now every team in the LPL has both won and lost a game. We'll see if WE can become the final team to win a match as well. As doing that against Top Esports would certainly be a statement that this team, and basically all the teams in Group Ascend, are here to play.
It would, and it would put Top Esports back on the fraud watch that we thought they beat. So, you know, it would make things quite interesting here, Graves, if we do see the completion of the series go in WE's favor. But as play the game, last chance, who do you have?
Karis, Taeyoon, Monki.
Okay, it is Monki. All right.
Hey, he did all right.
Hey, no, a lot of plays went through Monki in this one. I think it's somewhat just. I feel like he actually outplayed Kanavi in the end of the jungle when he was counterpicked. So props to Monki, you know, bouncing back after that 1v1 that he dropped. You know, maybe he was just trying to give them blue side to give them false hope and then get his hands on the Skarner.
We'll see if that false hope turns into anything else. As Top Esports suddenly have their backs against the wall, dropping to WE, who were projected to be one of the weaker teams in this Group Ascend. So will they be able to pull off that reverse sweep, or will it be one of the bigger upsets that we've had so far here in the LPL split number 2?